That massive, brand new luxury RV parked in your neighbor's driveway, or that lavish European river cruise your friends keep bragging about at dinner? Take a closer look, because that isn't necessarily wealth. In fact, it is often just a very loud, very fragile illusion. Here is the uncomfortable truth that those glossy retirement brochures absolutely refuse to tell you. Real wealth, especially in your golden years, is completely silent. If your financial life feels a little uneventful right now, if your daily routine feels downright boring, take a deep breath. You're probably doing exactly what you need to be doing to protect your legacy. Most people expect that hitting true financial freedom feels like a sudden jackpot moment. It doesn't. True wealth doesn't scream for attention. It whispers in the background, and it acts as an invisible shield around your actual physical health. Scientifically speaking, well, when you build a quiet, steady cash buffer, your brain chemistry literally changes. It actively shuts down the production of cortisol, that dangerous, silent stress hormone that keeps you staring at the ceiling at 3 in the morning. Because of that quiet money, a sudden medical bill or a major roof repair doesn't trigger a survival panic. It just becomes a minor inconvenience. Ask yourself this: wouldn't you rather have the deep, quiet peace of mind of true security, instead of a loud retirement built on a mountain of hidden stress? I am going to walk you through the subtle, almost invisible signs that you are secretly building a bulletproof financial legacy, even if your current bank balance doesn't make you feel wealthy quite yet. Pay very close attention to the third sign, because that is the exact psychological shift that determines whether you will outlive your money, or if your money will comfortably outlive you. Let's find out if you are already on the quiet path that most people never find. Gemini Jaw Noi. The most powerful equation in your financial life isn't a complex Wall Street algorithm, and it certainly isn't a complicated annuity product. It is simply the gap, that critical breathing room between the money you have coming in and the money flowing out. If you are consistently defending that gap, especially as you step into your golden years, you're secretly getting richer. And let's look at two neighbors, Alex and Jordan. They are both 60 years old, and they both just hit the exact same major milestone, transitioning into retirement with a healthy nest egg. When that retirement reality hits, Jordan feels like it is finally time for the ultimate reward. The immediate instinct is to show it off. Jordan instantly starts pulling heavy distributions from their 401k to finance a massive, rapidly depreciating Class A motorhome. They sign a high-pressure contract for a luxury timeshare down in Florida. To everyone else on the block, Jordan looks like the absolute picture of the perfect American retirement. But financially, they are suffocating. Every single dollar of their hard-earned capital is being swallowed alive by retirement lifestyle creep. Scientifically speaking, making those big, flashy purchases triggers a quick hit of dopamine in the brain, a temporary, fleeting thrill. But as that retirement portfolio rapidly shrinks, that dopamine is quickly replaced by chronic anxiety, the silent, terrifying fear of outliving your own money. Then there is Alex. Alex steps into retirement, but Alex has developed complete lifestyle immunity. Alex still lives comfortably in their fully paid-off home and happily drives a reliable 10-year-old sedan. The baseline cost of Alex's life did not suddenly inflate just because their employment status changed. So what happens to Alex's wealth? It becomes an impenetrable fortress. Alex ruthlessly defends their capital, allowing it to silently generate dividends and interest in the background. Alex isn't living a life of deprivation. They have simply figured out exactly what enough looks like. If you have ever received a pension payout, an unexpected inheritance, or a social security bump, one, and your very first thought wasn't, what can I buy right now? But instead, how much more security does this buy my family? You have leveled up psychologically. You have stopped spending money to maintain a fragile image, and you have started forcing your money to build a permanent legacy. You are building a quiet, generational fortress, while everyone else is just building a very expensive facade. But what happens when an unexpected disaster strikes that fortress? Sekna, that brings us to the invisible shield. Here is a painful, unspoken reality about retirement that nobody talks about at the country club. Most people are walking a terrifying financial tightrope, completely without a net. They are smiling on the outside, but quietly terrified of outliving their savings on the inside. But if you have been secretly building an invisible shield, a fully funded, untouchable cash reserve, you are operating on an entirely different level. You have built true, life-saving breathing room. Having 1 or 2 years of living expenses safely sitting in a high-yield savings account actually changes your brain chemistry. Scientifically speaking, when you have that massive cash buffer, your brain physically stops flooding your nervous system with cortisol. That is the dangerous stress hormone that triggers late-night financial panic. Because of that quiet money, when a sudden, massive medical bill arrives, or the house unexpectedly needs a new roof, it feels completely different. For status-chasing Jordan, a major unexpected expense is an absolute disaster. It means desperately swiping a credit card with a punishing 24% interest rate. Or even worse, it means panic selling their precious retirement investments during a painful market downturn just to survive. But for Stealth Wealth Alex, that exact same expense is just a minor inconvenience. Alex doesn't panic. Alex calmly pivots. That cash buffer buys something a luxury timeshare could never afford. Total, unshakable peace of mind. And because Alex isn't living in a constant state of financial anxiety, they can actually afford to play the long game. Yes, even in your golden years, this is still a decade's game. While Jordan is frantically jumping from one hot trend to another, chasing risky high-yield traps, or looking for a quick payout to make up for lost time, Alex is entirely unbothered. Alex knows that real wealth isn't built or preserved overnight. If you have stopped obsessing over quick wins and started focusing on steady compound growth, you have won. You understand that patience and consistency are the ultimate wealth multipliers. If you are thinking in terms of decades rather than days, and if you value the quiet compounding of your money over the loud thrill of a risky gamble, you are already way ahead of the pack. You're playing a game that you are mathematically guaranteed to win. But how do you actually stop comparing your quiet Chapter 20 to your neighbor's incredibly flashy Chapter 5? We are going to uncover that invisible trap right now. When you are approaching retirement with financial anxiety, or desperately trying to look like the most successful grandparent in your social circle, comparison becomes an exhausting full-time job. Facebook suddenly becomes a dangerous highlight reel, meticulously designed to trigger a very specific kind of late-stage FOMO. You see a fellow retiree pull up to the golf course in a brand new luxury SUV. You watch a former colleague post endless sunset pictures from an extravagant European river cruise. Suddenly, that heavy, sinking anxiety hits your chest. You start questioning everything. You wonder if your nest egg is falling behind, and you feel that dangerous temptation to dip into your hard-earned savings just to keep up with the Joneses. But when you are quietly preserving real wealth, your psychology completely shifts. You develop total social immunity. Stealth Wealth Alex sees that exact same luxury SUV and feels absolutely zero envy. Why? Because Alex knows the quiet, uncomfortable truth about loud retirement money. A massive chunk of that flashy lifestyle is entirely debt funded. It is an $80,000 illusion, masking a suffocating monthly payment that is literally eating their pension alive. Ask yourself this: why would you ever sacrifice your family's future security just to impress people you only see occasionally at the country club? When you finally realize that highly visible senior wealth usually comes at the massive, terrifying cost of their future medical security and their family's legacy, the urge to compete simply vanishes. You become completely immune to the brilliant marketing and peer pressure perfectly designed to separate seniors from their life savings. And as that social anxiety disappears, something even better happens. Money finally stops being the main character in your retirement. When you are quietly terrified of outliving your money, every single decision, paying for daily prescriptions, filling up the gas tank, or awkwardly splitting a dinner bill with friends, becomes a high stakes financial debate. Scientifically speaking, this constant decision fatigue literally drains the cognitive energy right out of your brain. It leaves you mentally exhausted, irritable, and unable to actually enjoy the retirement you worked 40 years to achieve. But real wealth runs quietly on autopilot. Your required minimum distributions and Social Security checks are deposited before you even have to think about them. Your Medicare premiums and utility bills are on auto pay. Your carefully guarded portfolio is silently generating dividends in the background. Because you have automated the system, you no longer have to wake up in a panic and obsessively check the stock market or your bank accounts. You have successfully bought back your own mental bandwidth. And with that freed up energy, you can finally focus on what actually matters in your golden years: building your legacy, being fully present with your grandchildren, and fiercely protecting your physical and mental health. You have shifted money from a daily survival crisis into quiet background noise. But there is one final and ultimate currency that this quiet wealth buys you, and it has absolutely nothing to do with your bank account. Most people spend 40 long years running on an endless treadmill, frantically chasing the dollar. But when you finally cross that invisible threshold into a secure retirement, you realize the ultimate currency isn't money at all. It is healthy, active time. You finally stop glorifying the endless hustle of your younger years, and you stop wearing your exhaustion like a badge of honor. Instead of spending every Saturday doing grueling yard work or deep cleaning a massive empty nester house just to save a few bucks, you might happily pay a local service to handle it for you. Why? Because you are intentionally buying back the only asset you can never earn more of: irreplaceable physical energy and time. Time to actually watch your grandchildren grow up. Time to simply sit on your porch, breathe, eat, and enjoy the peace you have earned. You start confidently saying no to pointless obligations. For the first time in your adult life, your calendar actually has white space in it. And as you take back your time, a profound psychological shift happens in your vocabulary. You completely delete the phrase, "I can't afford that because I am on a fixed income." Psychologically speaking, repeating that phrase literally strips away your cognitive power and trains your brain to act like a helpless victim to your bank account. Instead, you look at that expensive timeshare upgrade or the heavy pressure to fund a lavish family vacation, and you simply say, "That is just not a priority for my legacy right now." You embrace radical ownership. You stop blaming soaring inflation, rising Medicare premiums, or a chaotic economy for your financial reality. Are those threats terrifyingly real? Absolutely. But complaining at the dinner table has never added a single day of security to anyone's life. While others waste their precious remaining energy building elaborate excuses for why preserving their savings is impossible, you focus entirely on the pieces on the board that you can actually control. When you stop waiting for perfect economic conditions and start actively working with the nest egg you have, you become completely unstoppable. You're not just scraping by on Social Security. You have quietly built a bulletproof financial fortress, one that no stock market crash, no sudden medical bill, and no economic crisis can ever take away from your family. So, if your financial journey feels wonderfully quiet right now, take a deep breath and keep going. You are already richer than you think. If this mindset shift helped you protect your peace today, hit that subscribe button, keep building your legacy, and I will see you in the next one.